Afternoon, this is call number 2022-17226. In the interest of Chloe Mejia, all parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Can you hear me, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Dana Hernandez, and I'm the mother of Chloe Mejia.
All right. And representing the state of Texas Attorney General's office?
Andrea Eoff.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Raymond Enrique Mejia, Jr. Mr. Mejia was personally served on April 15th, 2022 at 7:36 a.m. at 3715 Morelos Road in Baytown, Harris County, Texas. And he has not appeared or filed an answer. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
We'll proceed by default.
Thank you. Your Honor, we'd like to call Ms. Hernandez.
All right.
Ms. Hernandez, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Will you please state your full name for the record?
Dana Elizabeth Hernandez.
And will you state the name and age of your child?
Chloe Anaí Mejia, and she's 2 years old and 3 months.
All right. And is Mr. Mejia her father?
Yes.
And is it true that he signed an acknowledgement of paternity when she was born?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to declare him as her legal father and establish the parent-child relationship between them today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you mentioned that Chloe is 2 years old. So Chloe was born in 2020, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And about 8 months after she was born, Mr. Mejia went to prison, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And he went to prison after a domestic violence incident between you two that was considered a parole violation, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it fair to say that Mr. Mejia has a fairly extensive criminal history?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the time that he has been in prison, you've been raising Chloe on your own, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to appoint you as Chloe's sole managing conservator and to make Mr. Mejia a possessory conservator?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking that the court appoint you as the parent who designates Chloe's primary residence within Harris County and counties that touch Harris County?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Mejia is expected to be incarcerated through November of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that when somebody is incarcerated for more than 90 days, we cannot order them to pay any support, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so because Mr. Mejia is incarcerated, are you asking the court to order him to pay $0 in child support beginning August 1st, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to order you to continue providing Medicaid for Chloe?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to order Mr. Mejia to pay $0 in medical support?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And there was an approximately an 8-month period in which Chloe was born and Mr. Mejia was not in prison. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking the court to make a judgment for retroactive support in the amount of $1,832 to cover that 8-month period?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking that's paid at $0 a month right now because of his incarceration?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Whenever it comes to visitation, do you believe it would be appropriate for there to be any sort of visitation ordered right now while he's in prison?
As in him, what we talked about on the court order?
Yes, I'll rephrase my question. Are you asking the court to say that there's no need for a visitation order right now because Mr. Mejia is incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And let's talk about the non-disclosure. You do not want to put your address and your phone number in this court order. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it because of threats that Mr. Mejia has made towards you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has Mr. Mejia threatened to hurt you when he gets out of prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the court what he said?
When he said that when he gets out of jail, he'll find me and that he's gonna beat me and take the baby away from me, and that I will never get her back.
And have you ever had him say something like that in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he ever tried to take her?
Yes, ma'am. He took her once already.
And he's been violent with you in the past, right?
Yes, ma'am. I've went through domestic violence with him for 3 years.
And so you believe that his threat to find you and hurt you once he's released is a credible threat. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you asking the court to make a finding of non-disclosure and keep your address and phone number confidential for that reason?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If the court were to enter an order today that contained all the terms we talked about just now, do you think that would be in Chloe's best interest?
Yes, ma'am. It would.
And are you asking the court to make and enter an order to that effect today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I pass this witness, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the